So a lot of you out there are excited because you are wanting to purchase a Samsung Galaxy tablet, but some of you might be confused on which one you should purchase. Should you purchase a Galaxy Tab S8? Should you purchase a Tab S8 Plus? Or should you get the Tab S8 Ultra? Or maybe you should wait until the Tab S9. And I'm here to let you know what I think because I've tried the Tab S8 Plus and the Tab S8 and the Tab S8 Ultra, and I'm here to tell you my thoughts on all of these tablets and what you should consider doing, or I want to help you with that process in this video. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about the Tab S8 and all the other tabs in the Tab S8 series. So one of the first questions I want to answer in this video is, should you wait? Should you even buy a Galaxy tablet in the first place, or should you wait for something like the Tab S9 or the Tab S9 Plus or the Tab S9 Ultra? Those devices are rumored to be out later this year, and you might be curious if you should wait. Well, I've got some extremely important advice for you. No, you should not wait to buy a Galaxy tablet if you're interested in one. And here's why. I've noticed every single year, and this might change in future years, but Samsung is always giving ridiculous trade-ins for their older tablets. So whenever I went to purchase, for example, the Tab S8, they were giving insane trade-in deals on the Tab S7. So I found the Tab S7 for like $300 on eBay. I found it for a really good price right before the Tab S8 came out. And of course, when I went to go buy the Tab S8, I got like $400 for a trade-in on that Tab S7. So buying the Tab S7 early did not lose me money. In fact, I actually made money buying the Tab S7 and trading it in a little later. So if you're out there and you're wondering if you should buy a Galaxy Tab, I would personally advise you to buy one right now because you'll still get a great trade-in deal if you decide to upgrade later. I don't think it's going to be a decision that's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. In fact, I would argue most of you, if you buy it online, if you buy it on eBay, if you buy it on Swappa, or if you just get a really good deal on it altogether. Samsung has some great deals. I'm going to link those deals in the description below. Best Buy also has a lot of great deals on these Samsung tabs. If you find these tablets for a good deal, I would say some of you might even make money if you're trading it into Samsung later. Some of you might buy it for $400 or $500 and you might actually trade it in for a little bit more later. Now, I can't guarantee that. Maybe you'll break even. Maybe you'll lose $50 or $100. But in my opinion, losing $50 or $100 and actually using a Galaxy tablet for like 6 months, I think that's a really big deal, right? If you get 3, 4, 5, 6 months out of a Galaxy tablet, I think that's going to be well worth it, even if you lose a little money in the trade-in process. I don't think you're going to lose a lot though, because Samsung is normally super generous with trade-ins. So I would advise you, if you're considering upgrading, sure, maybe you should upgrade when the Tab S9 comes out. But if you're considering if you should buy one right now and you're not sure, I would say just buy one right now and you will be fine. But that does lead us to the next question. Which tablet should you buy? Should you buy the Tab S8? Should you buy the Tab S8 Plus? Or should you buy the Tab S8 Ultra? Now, all of these devices are tremendous tablets from my experience, and they all do different things very, very well. So the Tab S8, for example, it's a little bit smaller than the other tablets, but it is missing some key features, okay? So yes, you are going to save some money if you buy the Tab S8, and you are going to get a smaller device. That's what a lot of you are really looking for. And you're still going to get a 120 Hz screen, you're still going to get the same processor, and for the most part, you're going to get the same performance. But when you look at the Tab S8, you really need to consider the screen because this does not have an OLED display, and that might be a deal breaker for a lot of you. On the other end, some of you might prefer a smaller screen, and if that's the case, the Tab S8 might be a good option for you. Now, if you don't care about the difference between OLED and a regular display, I think some of you aren't going to care because the Tab S8 still has a very good screen. I do still think it looks very, very good. It's just not quite as good as an OLED screen or an AMOLED screen that you see in the Tab S8 Plus or the Tab S8 Ultra, right? So if you're someone who wants a smaller screen, well, that's great. And if you don't mind OLED, well, the Tab S8 still could be a very good option. But you also have to consider the fact that the Tab S8 will have less RAM, at least than some models. You can get a higher RAM amount on the Tab S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, depending on which model you buy and which variant you buy, right? There are some variants that have more RAM. So I think the OLED display, not having OLED, that's a big deal. But the Tab S8 also, it has a worse response time on the S Pen. So I don't even notice it personally. Like, I've had the Tab S8 and the S8 Plus or the S8 Ultra. I've had these devices side by side before. I have not noticed a difference in the response time on the S Pen. But some of you out there might notice a little bit of a better response time on the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, right? So that's just one thing to consider. Now, if you're going outside of that, right, I think price is a big factor as well. So if you don't mind OLED, right, if you don't need an OLED screen, and if you're okay having a slightly worse response time, then I think the Galaxy Tab S8, especially if you want a portable form factor, like that is the tablet for you. It is smaller, and the keyboard is a little more crammed if you do buy one of those keyboards, so that's one other negative thing. But if you're okay with those negatives and you want a more portable form factor, the Tab S8 is a terrific tablet to buy. I would definitely recommend it for you. Now, the Tab S8 Plus or the Tab S8 Ultra, that's really two interesting devices. Those are interesting devices that a lot of people just aren't sure which ones they should buy. They both have OLED screens. They both have similar performance because they're going to have the same processors, right? They both look absolutely gorgeous. Now, you do have a little bit of a notch on the Tab S8 Ultra, and the Tab S8 Ultra is a little bit bigger. We're talking like over 14 inches, right? Over 14 inches is a really big tablet, right? Huge and humongous, while the Tab S8 Plus is going to be about 12.3 inches, and it's going to be a good middle ground for a tablet. So if you're considering these two tablets, I think one thing to consider is size. Do you want a tablet that is bigger? Of course, it seems like a no-brainer. A lot of people, when they want tablets, they want a bigger tablet. But you need to consider this because I bought the Tab S8 Ultra and it was really, really big and it was pretty heavy too. So whenever I had a laptop stand, right, I like to have a lap desk, something to put on my lap so I could have a sturdier typing experience on my tablets. And the Tab S8 Ultra was too big to fit on that desk, right? It was too big to fit on this thing that I'm putting on my lap. So that's ridiculous, right? If you can't even fit your tablet on like a lap desk, because the kickstand, you have to remember, is going to take some space. If you want to put the kickstand back, then the keyboard takes space, the tablet takes space. So it was actually taking more space than a laptop would, right? So it was bigger than a laptop whenever it was on my desk. It wasn't very sturdy, right, when I was using it on my lap, unless, of course, I had a lap desk, which it wouldn't fit on, right? So it was too big overall, and if I'm carrying it around, it wasn't great. And if you have the keyboard case that Samsung makes, the kickstand is also a little bit more flimsy than the kickstand on the Tab S8 Plus keyboard case. So a lot of those things mean that the Tab S8 Ultra could be too big for some people. That's sort of what I'm trying to say, right? Now, a lot of you out there, you really don't care about those minor compromises, and some of you just want a really large screen. Some of you watch videos on your tablet all the time and you just want the biggest screen possible for that. And the Tab S8 Ultra is incredible for watching videos. It's absolutely great for that. A lot of you out there do a lot of productivity work and you want the biggest screen possible so you could have better multitasking and a better multitasking experience because you want apps to look bigger on your tablet as you're using them. If you have 2, 3, 4 apps open, they're going to look a lot better on a larger tablet, right? So in that case, the Tab S8 Ultra is terrific for you. Some of you also love to draw on your tablet, and some of you artists out there want the biggest possible canvas you can get. And if that is you, the Tab S8 Ultra is terrific for you, right? So even though the kickstand might be a little bit flimsier on the Samsung keyboard case, sure, that's a minor thing. And if you have a lap desk or you're using it on your lap, that might be a thing if you actually use the keyboard on your lap and you want a lap desk, but those are minor minor things that your average person might not even do. A lot of you, when you have it on your lap, you're going to use it as a tablet. And if you're using it as a tablet on your lap, it doesn't matter how heavy it is for the most part, because it's going to be sitting on your lap anyway with a kickstand or whatever the case. So either way, I think the Tab S8 Ultra will be great for those of you who just want a larger screen for everyday use, and you're okay with those little things. Now, yes, there is a little bit of a notch in the camera that is understandable. It's there, whatever. The bezels are a little bit smaller on this device, and I don't think your average person will care either way about the bezels or about that notch. But the screen quality is going to be very similar between the Tab S8 Plus and the Tab S8 Ultra. And I think that's the biggest deciding factor, right? For me personally, I thought the Tab S8 Ultra was a little bit too big in your average situation. If you did put a keyboard on it, it actually felt almost as heavy as a laptop. I have a lot of lighter laptops, and it did feel pretty heavy whenever I was carrying it around. Or if you're doing a presentation somewhere, you're actually having to hold the tablet for a long period of time, that's going to be a little bit more difficult with a heavier tablet. On the other end, the Tab S8 Plus, it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit smaller in different ways, but on the other end, you still get a fairly large tablet. 12.3 inches, it's not something to laugh at, right? It's still going to work better in some situations than the Tab S8, so I do like that it's bigger. I think the keyboard cover, whichever keyboard cover you get, it's going to be more spacious than the Tab S8 keyboard cover, but you're still going to get OLED, and it's going to be cheaper, right? The Tab S8 Plus will save you money from the Ultra, but you'll still get the same performance, you'll still get a great OLED screen, and you're going to save a few bucks along that process, right? You'll still get the lower response time from the S Pen, and even smaller things like the auto frame feature where it follows you around, the camera does, right? The Tab S8 Plus still does terrific with that as well. So overall, it really depends on who you are. If you just want a small tablet, a nice companion to bring with you, you want something light, and maybe you want a fingerprint sensor in the actual button. The Tab S8 has a fingerprint sensor that's actually in the tablet on the power button. That's a really cool thing. So you might prefer the Tab S8. You might prefer it because it's thinner and lighter, but it still has a lot of the same power as the other devices. But if you do want an OLED display, or you want a bigger display, that's going to bring you between the Tab S8 Plus and the Tab S8 Ultra. And at that point, you really have to make a decision as far as which one is better for you. Do you want the biggest device possible for everything? If you do, that's terrific and great. You can find the S8 Ultra for a lot of great deals out there nowadays, but you are going to have to deal with some compromises. If you do get the Samsung official keyboard cover, it costs more money. It's $350 for the retail price. If you do get it on sale, again, there are still some compromises with it, like the kickstand that you have with that keyboard cover. It is a little bit flimsier. If you do try to have different angles with it, it can fall over if you push it a little too far down. So there are little compromises, or the fact that it won't work properly on your lap if you have a lap desk, because again, the tablet is so big and it's heavier. But if you're okay with those minor compromises, the Ultra is terrific. The screen is incredible. I would argue between the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, they have some of the best tablet screens you're going to find out of any tablets in the world, because they're AMOLED, they're gorgeous, they look tremendous, and the performance is so good on these tablets. And now you can even video edit on your tablet with apps like LumaFusion that have released officially on the Google Play Store and on the Galaxy Store. So I am so impressed with these Galaxy tablets. They are terrific, and if you're wondering if you should buy one, I would say absolutely. This is a terrific time to buy one. In fact, it's one of the best times that you could ever buy a Galaxy tablet, because you're going to find a lot of great sales. They are going to go on, they're going to continue to go on, and Samsung is going to try to sell out of these devices before the Tab S9 releases. So you could have these devices, you could try them out, and if you decide, hey, I want to upgrade to the Tab S9, you could still trade in your Tab S8 or your Tab S8 Plus or your Tab S8 Ultra for a tremendous trade-in deal. If you decide, you know what, I want to keep this device, these devices have 4 years of software updates, right? And they do have a lot of great longevity. They have very good build quality. I've used a lot of these devices, a lot of different colors, and I have still yet to find one that was a dud on me, right? These are terrific devices, very well built. And again, I would would highly recommend any of these Galaxy tablets to you, but it's all about which one you would prefer. So let me know in the comments, which device would you prefer? Which Galaxy tablet would be best for you? Feel free to let me know down there in those comments. And by the way, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, or you're trying to make that buying decision, I'd be happy to help with that. Now, you could also use the links as well. Those links in the description, you could use those to buy a Galaxy tablet, and that is another thing that you could do. So, with all that being said, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your week, and watch some other videos if you get a little bit of time.